The first time I teased the Galactic Queen, I did not know she was the Galactic Queen. I thought she was an overworked diplomat with an absurdly long title and an even more absurd entourage. That was my first mistake. My second mistake was opening my mouth. It happened in the Celestial Forum, a rotating ring of glass and starlight suspended above the gas giant Lyria 9. Humans had been allowed into the forum only recently and only in minor roles: interpreters, data clerks, cultural advisors. I was one of those. A glorified translator with a badge that didn't quite open all the doors. I was exhausted, jet-lagged across 3 star systems, and running on caffeine synthesized by an alien species that clearly hated humans. The Queen, though I didn't know it then, stood at the center dais, her form tall and elegant, her skin shimmering like liquid obsidian threaded with faint silver light. Her eyes, 4 of them arranged in a graceful arc, watched the delegates with cool amusement. She was listening to a speech delivered by a Kepri envoy who had been talking for 13 uninterrupted minutes about tariff rights on asteroid ice. 13 minutes. When the envoy finally paused for breath, I leaned toward my assigned delegate and muttered, far too loudly, "If he circles the point any harder, he's going to achieve orbit." A ripple went through the chamber. The Kepri froze. My delegate stiffened. And the Queen, stars help me, laughed. It wasn't loud. It wasn't polite. It was a sudden, surprise sound, like chimes colliding with thunder. The entire forum fell silent as her laughter echoed through the translators. Her gaze snapped to me. All 4 eyes. I felt like a mouse who had just insulted a lion's haircut. "Repeat that," she said, her voice resonating directly inside my skull through the neural translation field. I swallowed. I was merely commenting on orbital mechanics, Your Excellency." Another pause. Then she smiled. That was the moment my life stopped being normal. I learned her name later. Aurelia Threx, sovereign of the Triarchal Spiral, voice of 1,000 systems, Queen of the Galactic Concord. Titles so long they needed footnotes. She learned my name immediately. "Evan Carter," she said, tasting the syllables. "You are entertaining." Entertaining. Not respectful. Not useful. Entertaining. That word followed me like a gravity well. Within hours, I was reassigned. Not punished, as I expected, but elevated, pulled from my quiet translation booth and placed directly under the Queen's advisory retinue. No explanation. No appeal. "You're joking," I told the human liaison officer when he handed me the transfer slate. I made fun of an envoy in front of the most powerful being in known space. He gave me a haunted look. Yes. And she liked it. That should have terrified me. It did. But it also sparked something dangerous. Curiosity. The Queen summoned me that evening. Her private observatory overlooked the curve of Lyrian 9, its storms glowing like molten gold beneath transparent alloy floors. She dismissed her guards with a gesture and turned to face me alone. "You mock power," she said, circling me slowly. "Why?" "I mock boredom," I replied before my brain could intervene. "They're not the same thing." Her eyes narrowed, not in anger, but interest. "Most humans tremble in my presence. Most humans haven't had 3 days of recycled oxygen and political speeches," I said. "No offense." Another laugh. Warmer this time. "You are reckless," she said. "Yes, Your Majesty. And honest." "I try." She stopped in front of me. I could feel the hum of her biofield, the subtle distortion of space that surrounded her like an invisible crown. "Stay," she said. It was not a request. From that night on, I became her shadow. The middle of my story, of our story, is a blur of stars, tension, and impossible conversations. I accompanied her to war councils, where entire civilizations were discussed like chess pieces. I watched her end trade disputes with a sentence and avert wars with a glance. I learned that beneath her composed exterior was a mind sharper than any blade, constantly calculating, constantly weighing futures. And somehow, she let me see it. She asked me questions about Earth, about humor, about why humans joked in the face of extinction. I teased her in return, pointing out the absurdity of galactic bureaucracy, the irony of immortal beings arguing over shipping lanes. "You diminish my authority," she told me once, as we watched a supernova bloom in silence. "I humanize it," I corrected. She considered that, then nodded. "You are different from other advisors," she said. "They fear me." "And you hate that," I said. Her silence confirmed it. Threats emerged, as they always do when power shifts. A separatist coalition accused the Queen of favoritism toward humans. Whispers spread that she was compromised, influenced by a species barely out of its home system. By me. I became a liability. I knew it. She knew it. Everyone knew it. One night, she confronted me. "They will try to remove you," she said calmly. "Politically?" I asked. "And otherwise?" I said. "The otherwise is usually my least favorite." "You should leave," she said. I met her gaze. "Do you want me to?" "No." She didn't answer, but I felt the answer like gravity pulling in my chest. So I stayed. The attempt came during the Convergence Summit, a gathering so vast it required an artificial star to power it. Representatives from thousands of systems filled the arena. The Queen stood at the center, radiant and unyielding. I stood at her side. When the attack came, it was subtle, a resonance weapon tuned to her unique biofrequency. Invisible, silent, deadly. I felt it before anyone else. I didn't think. I moved. I tackled the Queen off the dais just as the weapon discharged, shattering the space she had occupied. The crowd erupted. Guards swarmed. Systems failed. I shielded her with my body, absurd as that was. When it was over, I lay on the floor, ears ringing, vision blurred. She knelt beside me, her hands glowing as she stabilized my failing neural implants. "Why?" she demanded, voice cracking for the first time. "Because," I coughed, "I teased you. That makes this my mess." She laughed, tears, actual tears, sliding down her luminous skin. "My favorite human," she whispered. The aftermath changed everything. The conspirators were exposed. The coalition fractured. The Queen's authority, paradoxically, strengthened. She had bled. She had been vulnerable. The galaxy saw her not as an untouchable deity, but as a ruler who inspired loyalty deep enough for sacrifice. She offered me anything. Titles. Wealth. A planet. I refused them all. "What do you want, Evan Carter?" she asked softly. I thought of Earth, of blue skies and gravity that felt like home, of a life that no longer fit me. "I want to stay," I said. "Not as a symbol, not as a shield, just as me." She studied me for a long time. Then she smiled, the smile that had started it all. "So be it." The ending of this story does not involve coronations or weddings or dramatic abdications. Life is rarely that neat. I remained by her side, officially as a cultural advisor, unofficially as something far stranger. I teased her in private and challenged her in council. She trusted me with secrets that could collapse empires. I watched her shape the future. Sometimes, when the stars are quiet, she asks me why I spoke up that first day. I always give the same answer. Someone had to say it. She laughs. The galaxy turns. And I, a human who once mocked a speech, remain exactly where I never expected to be, standing beside the most powerful being in existence, not because I bowed, but because I dared to tease her. And somehow, she never let me go.